Good morning. Oh, I didn't know y'all were here already. Yes, I did. I'm just playing. Good morning. I'm being silly. TGIF. That's why. It's Friday, y'all. Yay. Come on now. Give yourselves a round of applause. We made it. We made it all the way through. What we didn't do was we didn't get around it. What we didn't do is we didn't get over it. And we certainly didn't get from underneath anything. We got through it, right? When you go through it, you can come out the other side. Now you're an authority, even on things like a week, a regular old week. I'm so excited to be here. Welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Laura Michaels Harris, and today is an illuminated conversation. What that means is it's the one day each week, this new season, season 7, where we just kick it. We talk about things that matter to us, right? Now, I had gotten some emails over the past couple of weeks, really like between Christmas and New Year's, where people are like, hey, can we have an illuminated conversation? Can you bring up the topic or bring in a guest? Talking about things about how to remove negative thoughts from our minds. I'm going into the new year. I want to do my best, but I got some hangups. I'm still pissed off about what happened back in June with who you know who, or blah, blah, blah. And I don't really know if I can forgive. And then also some tips. You got some tips for us on how we can change our lives for the better. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Now's a great time. Now's a great time to do yourself and someone you care about a solid. That's right. What I want you to do right now is one person. Who was the last person that reached out to you because they just, let's say their spirit was damp, right? Their spirit was just a little bit low. We want to move the needle, peg it. We want it in the red. We want your spirit to be strong and powerful, so that we can do all the things that we were created to do. So if you get that person, did you see a face? Did you hear a voice? Did you see a name? Reach out right now and share this broadcast with that person. The manner in which we bless others is the manner in which our blessings will find us. And that's the truth. Can I get a name, man? That's the bell purpose, y'all. It's not just a gimmick. It's a reminder. It's an opportunity. It is to get us involved, interactive, and to remind us to tune in, lean in. When there's some truth out there, we don't want to miss it, right? We're busy people. We get that. But never should we be too busy to not hear that ring of truth, just like the ring of the bell of purpose, right? Help me welcome, won't you please? She's my sidekick, my version of Ed McMahon. This is Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo. We're sipping on one of those bags of coffee I got I got 8 bags of delicious coffees, stocking stuffers for Christmas. So I'm on bag number 2. So there you go. So put in the comments. I want to know from you guys here we are, day number 21 in 2022. Oh, look at that. 1/21/2022. That's 22. Isn't that a powerful number? 2022. Something powerful going on this year. Who believes that something wonderful is going to happen to them, as Dano would say on Weekly Dose? Let's go. Who believes? I do. And I'm going to tell you something. What I love about a lot of the stuff we're going to cover today is this. I don't question, excuse my language, shit. I don't question shit anymore. I really don't. I don't. You know why? Because when I used to question everything, it was because I was living inside of a mindset, a mentality of surprise. And then every time something halfway decent or a little bit decent or really big and wonderful happened, I was like, did that really just happen? You know what? I'm done. I'm done with that. I am no longer surprised because I manifested. Why should I be surprised? You know how greater than broke me of that being surprised crap all the time? I think I've told you guys this before, but hey, the truth never changes. So here it goes again. You want to hear it? Here it goes. So I was like, well, that's so hard to do. How it's easier said than done. They said, no, it isn't. You didn't have any trouble doing it with Amazon Prime. I was like, Amazon Prime? That ain't even a person. They said, so what? You live within your Amazon Prime experience from a sense of expectancy. Here's why we say that to you, Lauren. When you ordered something on Monday and they said your order has shipped, it'll be at $16.95 by 2:00 day after tomorrow. So I hear the doorbell ring at 1:58. Whenever it is, it's before 2:00. I jump up, I look out the window, I don't see anybody. What do? I don't open the door looking up and down the street. I look straight down on the stoop. There it is. Oh, my package I was expecting. Am I surprised? Not at all. Because I ordered it. I manifested it. Same thing. If you can trust in Amazon Prime and not be surprised when everything you manifest is there, I'm just saying. Can I get an amen? Okay. So today, you guys, I want to know, put in, what is the one thing that you must have this year? I must do this. We've been doing this. We did this the other day. Was it in P3? It was somewhere. One of my coaching sessions, group sessions. I went around the group and I said, what must you have this year in 2022? You know, somebody said, I must lose 20 pounds. Somebody said, you know, I must do this. I must get my book written. I must. Okay. So put in the comments, if you could, we'll get to those in just a few, something that you must manifest this year. And then we're going to talk about how. So the first thing I'd like us to do today is let's talk about, this is a great one. This is going to take about almost 8 minutes. It'll get us good and started. And I wanted us to begin by discussing how to remove negative thoughts. Because, you know, if you don't get that negative crap out of the way, off the table, you're going to sit there consuming it, right? So not only do we need to get it off the table, where did it come from to get on the table? The refrigerator, the pantry, where? Did we order it from, Shit Dash, for real? Crap Hub, instead of Grubhub, get it, DoorDash, right? Because we manifest everything that is in front of us. We do. We have a hand in it. So we want to track our own steps, our own process, if you will, and figure out why or why not is it working like we need it to. So the first thing is, let's figure out some ways to get the negative crap out of the way, because it's not serving us, right? We have to die every day to those things that are not serving us. Now, if we do that consistently every day in our regular world, as you get older, 60, 70, 80, whenever it is, you're not going to start fearing death when I'm 87, I could go any minute. No. I bet you anything, Betty White was not scared. She was not laying up there worrying about whatever. I bet you. And she was almost 100 years old. Why? Because clearly, look at how much she did. Look at what the legacy she left. How'd she do that? She got up every day and she died to those things that did not serve her. And she never stopped dying to those things that did not serve her. And I'm telling you what, that's the ticket. So, Let's start, shall we? Just hearing, and I love this. I watched it earlier. So, how to remove negative thoughts. Interesting thing. The 3 different videos that we're going to watch today, all 3 of them are like shaman, or they're Indian men who clearly, I don't know, I wasn't aware of them until I found them, but I always speak to greater than and ask greater than to lead me to what I need for us, okay? And this is what happens. So interesting, Middle Eastern, mindset, and so here we are. So there it is, how to remove negative thoughts. Take a look.
Subtractions and divisions in our mind. There is only addition and multiplication. I will just remove negative thoughts and I will have positive thoughts. All the best, it's not going to work. It's just that you need to pay little attention as to how it functions. You will see there is a distinction between what is you and what you have gathered. Well, see the way the question is asked and also the way normally it's addressed is, people think there is something called as negative thought and positive thought. They want to remove the negative thoughts and have only positive thoughts. But such people, I would ask them to just experiment for 10-15 seconds. Let them forcefully remove one thought from their mind. For example, next 10 seconds, just don't think of a monkey. Try not to think of a monkey for next 10 seconds. You will see you will be full of monkeys. So what I'm saying is, this is the nature of your mind, because in this mind, all the 3 pedals are throttle. There is no brake, there is no clutch. Whatever you touch, it will only go faster. In this kind of mind, people have been taught from moral teachers and religious teachers, do not think about bad things. Well, since then it's been a full-time job. So there is no way you can handle the mind like this. This doesn't need any great enlightenment. If you spend 2 minutes with your eyes closed, you will realize you cannot do anything forcefully with this mind. So I want to remove negative thoughts. Do not ever go in this direction, because what you want to remove will become your quality. Always you will be on it. So what should I do? The thing is this, without understanding the fundamental mechanism of this mind, because our mind, human mind, is the most sophisticated computer on the planet. Even all the supercomputers have come out of this. When this is the case, is it not important that we understand the mechanics of how it functions?
How?
One simplistic aspect of how it functions is, there are no subtractions and divisions in our mind. There is only addition and multiplication. If you try to do something with it, it will say one more. If you try hard, it will multiply into many more. In this mind, you don't try to identify what is positive, what is negative and try to remove it. First of all, one needs to understand this mind of yours, this body of yours is supposed to serve you. The life that you are is important. Body and mind are vehicles that must serve us. If you sit in a vehicle, it must go where you want to go. If it goes to its own destination, what is the point of such a vehicle? It's just a nuisance. Right now, most human beings are unfortunately experiencing this fantastic possibility of human mind as a nuisance, as a troublesome thing. Well, this is the most beautiful thing you have. It's just that you need to pay little attention as to how it functions. One simple thing is this. First and foremost process is, that's why we put out this process called Isha Kriya. This is to distance yourself from your physiological and psychological process. There is something called as you which exists. This is not a composite of all your thoughts and emotions and physiological processes. Beyond that, there is you. If you close your eyes, even if you cannot see anything, you're still there. It is through the window of your eyes that you're looking out, but if you close your eyes, it doesn't mean that you don't exist. You still exist. So beyond your thought, you still exist. Beyond your emotion, you still exist. So that you, the life that you are, this has to come into your experience. Why is it that you're not allowing that to come into your experience, which is the most significant aspect of who you are? Who you are right now, the most significant aspect is you and me are alive right now, this is it.
Right.
What I'm thinking, what you're thinking is not the important thing.
Lori Whitney, you just said that. You just put that comment pretty much out there, see?
We are alive right now, that is the important thing. So, it is important that you focus on this fundamental sense of aliveness within you, and then you will see there is a natural distance between you and your thought process. Once there is a distance between your psychological process and your physiological process, this is the end of suffering. Because there are only two kinds of suffering that human beings go through, physical suffering and mental suffering. Once you create a little space between you and your mind, between you and your body, this is the end of suffering.
Anybody out there ready for the end of suffering? Yeah.
This is something every human being has to experience and know. Otherwise, thinking I will just remove negative thoughts and I will have positive thoughts, all the best, it's not going to work 100%, it's not going to work because nobody can remove it, they can avoid it for some time. So when negative thoughts come, you say Ram Ram, Shiva Shiva, whatever you want, but this is just avoiding, it's not gone. The moment you stop that, it will pop back with great force, otherwise it'll come back in your dreams. So it's very important, first of all…
Now see, that's something to think about too. It will come back in your dreams. We'll talk about that at the end of this. You guys, keep that one, put that in the notes, we're gonna talk about that.
You need to understand your anger, your resentment, your fear, your anxieties, the negativity that you generate, generally resentment, anger, it is always directed towards somebody. But we need to understand this is poisons that we are drinking and expecting somebody else to die. Fortunately, life doesn't work like that.
Okay, now that's pretty deep. These are poisons that we're drinking, but at the same time expecting someone else to die. I'm just saying.
If I drink poison, I die. If I drink poison, you don't die. So, we need to understand this. When I say poison, today you can have yourself chemically analyzed. Right now, what is your blood work, what it says? 5 minutes of intense anger, check your blood work and see, there will be lots of negative elements in it, literally you're poisoning yourself. So, do you want to poison yourself? Definitely not. Now the very question is coming from certain helplessness, what shall I do? Don't do anything, just sit back and just concern yourself with something which is a life process, maybe your heartbeat, maybe your breath, maybe just a sensation of being alive. Depending upon how sensitive or how perceptive you are, accordingly, find something. It could be a sensation in the body, it could be breath, it could be heartbeat, it could be anything, something which indicates life to you. Just pay attention to that for some time. Slowly you will see there is a distinction between what is you and what you have gathered, which includes both your physiological and psychological possibility or mess, whatever you made out of it.
Wow. Okay, where am I? Okay. Some good stuff in there. Let me head over to the comments. Okay, what stuck with you the most? What was the one thing, now we're outside of that experience, what's sitting right in front of you? What came out with you, right? I want to hear. Lori Whitney, I'm with you. That's what I wrote down. Get past the toxic. I put this banner up every now and then. Where is it? Let me put it, because it's a real thing. And removing toxic influences. I'm going to tell you, people that work like ServPro, the company that comes out when you're what's that thing called? That thing in your house, with all the boo-boo and stuff, septic tank and all that stuff. They come in like toxic suits, because of all the bacteria and all the toxicity. So, that made me think about it. I remember one time I was a manager of an apartment complex and something backed up and they had to come and clean up the basement of the building. And they came in, they wouldn't even go in. They put big hoses through the windows and they were like aliens, right? And not one piece of their body was exposed, not anything. And so ask yourself, what if I have a bunch of toxicity in my life, people, situations, addictions, anything that is not serving me, not serving my purpose, something that just always brings out the worst in me. You know what I'm saying? We've all, raise your hand. Who, especially with families. We always got that one person in our family who just, no matter how hard we try and say, okay, I'm not going to let him or her push my buttons. I'm only there for a few hours. I ain't going to fall for it. And what happens? Because we go in, what he said in there about we drink the poison and expect them to die. And if you know you're going to be around toxicity, sometimes it cannot be helped because we're not always in bad situations with not so favorable people or situations because we're bad people. In many circumstances, many cases, we are there for that experience or that person to serve as an example of what we should never become. Think about it, right? So what do we put on? What do you reach for? What do you don? What do you put on your spirit? What do you put around your world that protects it from toxicity, right? Now, when he said the thing about we drink the poison and expect somebody else to die, that was deep. That was really deep. And so let's talk about some of those possible toxicities that we drink thinking it's going to. So gossip, being judgmental. I believe even taking things personally. Marsha. No matter what I do, they always, you see what I'm saying? And so it's important that we understand the difference. Any poison, even back in the day when they used to use iodine and it was a common thing that was around the house, they had a label on it. It was the skull and crossbones. Drink this, the upper room, you knew. And they taught children, just like if you remember when your kids were little, or if they are right now, or people that that have children, what's the first thing they do? They childproof everything. So nothing untowards can happen. You have to plan before the tragedy. You really do. You have to plan. So, okay. So removing negative thoughts. There was a lot of good stuff in there. Anybody in here, do you have any examples of how you do it? Let's share it. We're here to pour into each other and to share what we know to be true. So I'll start. Let me see. How do I, well, I'll tell you this. Okay, here we go. Here's the thing that helped me the most move the needle, because I talked a good game for decades. I really did. But I wasn't walking it. So here's what I had to learn. This is what changed it for me. It wasn't until I learned the absolute difference between, and the importance, the art of responding to anything, anyone, anywhere. Responding instead of reacting. I was 0 to 60 like that. I mean it. And why that was important for me was because once I started saying, well, wait a minute, because people say, you sure fly off the handle. Dang, do you always go for the juggler, Lauren? I was known as typical angry black man, which was a real thing. I'd be like, you just saying that because that's easy, discounting. But it was true. You know why? Because I did not understand what I talk about at least once a day, every day. When I tell the people I work with in my coaching and whatnot, every situation, every opportunity, every person, everything that requires a decision, which is everything. If I want my left hand to move, I have to decide to tell my left hand to move. We all find ourselves wherever we are at any given moment. We are in that particular spot, that particular place, that particular situation for one thing. In that moment, we are there to choose for ourselves. Which direction? You say, do we duck? Do we go this way? What do we do? So, let's see. Who is this? Lori Whitney says, learn how to say no and no more. Okay. Jamie Lane says, it took upgrading all parts of my life holistically. It was not going to be in the same place one more minute. I started by elimination. Ooh, yeah. I also struggle with reaction in lieu of response. Right. So here's how I got past that. Reacting and responding. First of all, the divine download came. Lauren, you give yourself some time. Just like a vehicle has a bumper to put some space between one vehicle and whatever it may run into, right? So it protects the frame, the body, the main part of the vehicle, right? So I had to put bumpers between. So that's when I heard the download. Everything you do, Lauren, just started me by saying, do a 360 walk around. Try to see it from every direction, which means sometimes put myself in someone else's place. Try to imagine what it would be like to walk in their shoes, right? Get out of my own way. Marsha. It's never about one thing, and it shouldn't always be about me, right? So I started by saying, okay, here it is. Okay, before I say or do anything, let me just try to look at this from top to bottom, bottom to top, from side to side, side to side, from corner to corner, corner to corner. The number one thing that did for me first was it put some space between me and my big ass mouth. Seriously, I cannot tell you how many times over the last 50 years, and I'm 59, 50 years, that my mouth has cut off opportunity, chopped its head right off, cut off wonderful relationships, chopped them off right at the knees. All because I thought they need me more than I need them. Whatever my rationale was, but it was not an informed decision. It was not an informed whatever came out of my mouth. It was just what felt good, but was not at all in the long run. So, because I mean it, how many times has something just come out of your mouth and you knew the moment it came out, this is what they say in my granny said, oh, you're going to let your mouth write a check that your ass can't cash. Ever heard that one? Yeah, I know why people of color heard that. Don't let your mouth write a check your ass can't cash. And what that means is, everybody, is don't say or do something you cannot take back. No matter what, you cannot take back. It has already hit its mark. It's a poison dart. Okay? Right there. There it goes, right in the jugular, right? Some things we can't come back from. There are certain things in this universe that are not do-overs. Okay? So, start working with yourself on how to remove. Good morning, Bernadette, and everyone else. Hello, I saw she just got here. Start thinking about it. Be honest with yourself. In the masterclass, I say in there, and I mean it. It was so important in my journey when I learned that critical. I don't believe it like when people say constructive criticism. No. When the people I work with in my coaching, I tell them, this is not constructive criticism. Don't get it twisted. This is constructive insight. Okay? I don't need to criticize you to make something better. I just have to tell you, well, I saw this. This came flying by and I snatched it out the air. Did you know this was in there with you? That sort of thing. Well, where'd you get that? It came from your camp. It did? Mm-hmm. Right. So, but you got to have trust. I got to have somebody telling me that. Are you sure? You sure, Jamie Lane, you got that? I sent that at you. Yeah. And if I trust Jamie Lane, if I know that she deserves and possesses a seat in my front row, in the front, she sits in one of the front row seats of my life. That means I have her on spiritual speed dial. When those negative forces, the ones that we haven't been able to remove yet, start trying to whisper, they start massaging my spiritual kinks. They know where all my hangups, where all my Charlie horses, all the muscles of my spirit that are knotted up. I have inside this box where I keep all of my digital or divine downloads. Okay, and there's hundreds of them, right? These are all in there is a piece of paper. I remember the day it happened when I was like, but. It felt the thing that got me in trouble when it was whispering to me how to make this work, telling me what to do next. And I was so busy just leaning into it. I didn't even open my eyes, my third eye, my instincts, all the internal things that let you go, beware, Will Robinson, danger, all those things that initiate fight or flight, that instinct. Some don't feel right. I don't know, right. I had just abandoned all that. I was just leaning into it. Ooh, your hands feel like butter. Just because it felt good, I assumed the spirit behind it was good. And it was not. And I remembered the day that changed for me. When the divine download came and said, Lauren, when are you going to learn to beware of the velvet glove? And I was like, the velvet glove? Yeah. Those things that rock us and lull us, that whisper sweet nothings in our spiritual ears, that convince us that it's okay. She is a bitch. Screw her. Just don't say it out loud. They'll never know. It's all that kind of stuff. So, negative thoughts. Remember this. Negative thoughts. Here's breaking it down. We're going to break it down to the nth degree. Here we go. First, there is an utterance. Ever been to church? Or you or in a courtroom, you hear, the preacher say something going, well, you know what I mean? Somebody saying something. Yeah, an utterance. Just an utterance. It means that's the beginning of, that is ping resonance. Whatever that person or that situation threw out, something in you went up and hit that bell. Or like, remember in the old shows, they'd have at the carnivals, they'd have the guy or the guys would go up and try to hit that thing and make it go all the way up and ring the bell. That's what we do. You see something like, so that's the beginning. So there are only two of those. It's either a sponsoring thought of love, hey, or a sponsoring thought of fear. I'll tell you one thing that I use to find my way into identifying fear-based everything. I realized, being honest with myself, every time something scary was going to happen to me, or I was really, really scared, where if I didn't, might need to start putting the pins on because, I'm this close to shitting on myself. I'm just keeping it real. We all been there. Who? Ever been driving your car with expired plates back in the day? Before we were all responsible. Remember that? You didn't have no insurance, something, and you had to stop, like, you look in the mirror, you see a police car behind you, like, oh, shit. I done put that, I ain't got no tag on there. And then I have been in that position, I kid you not. My foot was on the brake, but it was tap dancing. And I tried, don't look in the mirror. They're going to see you. They're going to know. You're going to look suspicious. Just sit here. Start itching all under the arms, just panic. And then, sometimes the light will come on. And sure enough, sometimes I'd get away. But the further I got away from where that panic happened, the farther I got away from knowing that was my chance to choose to do better. To fix whatever it was that scared me back there. To die to whatever it was that scared me back there. Because it was not serving me. Let me tell you something. And then the thing is, as soon as the light changed, the police behind you, how many times, instead of easing off like a law-abiding citizen, you hit the pedal like bat out of hell? That's what happened every time I got pulled over, and they would tell me. I'd say, what tipped you off? I'd ask them. You saw that there was no tag? I goes, no. You kept looking in your mirror at me, fidgeting, trying to act like you weren't, and I could see you. I'm trained. And then you took off like a bat out of hell, like I wasn't watching. We tell on ourselves, which is a good thing, because it's a clue to get us to the point where we do this, where we say, okay, I'm not just going to react anymore. I'm going to respond, which means I need to take some time and just go, well, wait a minute. What is the positive thing inside of it if I make this decision? What's the downfall? What's the negative if I make this same decision? Trust me, people, when you do that, it's going to make it a lot easier. It's going to make it a lot easier. And that's another thing. Yeah, we'll get into that a little later. Lori Winnie says she does that. She reacts to feelings. And that was another thing I didn't know the difference of. I really didn't. I thought, raise your hand, put in the comments. Have you ever believed, were you ever in a mindset where you just knew, you just assumed that feelings and emotions were the same thing? I did. I used to think it all the time. And you know what broke me of that? Was when I got pissed off one time as somebody who said, I don't appreciate what you did. I can't fuck with you no more, Lauren. I'm just keeping it real. That's what they said. I said, what? I can't have you in my life anymore. I said, why? What'd I do? Well, every time I just said, somehow you make me, you leave me. No, that's what she said. You leave me feeling bad about myself. And I can't have that kind of toxicity around me anymore. And I was like, what did I do? I got right on the defensive. Well, I didn't mean for you to. She goes, I can't help what you meant. All I can do is address how it actually left me feeling. Because I would do things like this. Well, that's your fault. You shouldn't be. I can't help how I feel, right? So feelings and emotions. And I realized when I was reactionary, ready to fight at the drop, I felt, because I used to take my cues, I'll keep it real. I used to brag about it. I used to tell people, listen, I learned everything I know from Victor Newman on Young and the Restless. And if it wasn't him, it was Alexis Colby Carrington on Dynasty. Because they just knocked people all the way. I don't gash out. I don't need you. Right? And I felt that the world owed me. So if I cut your head off, oh, well, shouldn't have been there. That's what I thought. I really did. So, that's the thing. How to remove negative thoughts. Do some work on it. Know yourself from every direction. And then put things in place to save you from yourself. Okay? That's why we always say, and I said, I hate to keep going back to the master class, but that's why it's a master class. It's the truth. You ask people, ask if anybody's sitting next to you right now, ask them, who was responsible for the last thing in your life? Ask yourself this. Who was responsible for the last thing in your life that went wrong? The last thing that went south? The last thing that dipped out? And in most cases, we're going to point at ourselves. That was me. I did it. I'm responsible. I lost my temper. I was, stubborn. So why is it that we mean well, but when we get right up to the situation, sometimes we screw it up, right? Well, I believe, and this will tie into what we're going to watch next, it's because whatever it is that I'm back up against or in front of, in many cases, I found that I had never forgiven. You know, I hadn't forgiven. And that changes everything. We're going to look at something here and see how you guys feel about this. We're going to this video says how to forgive. Learn 4 secrets of forgiveness. Okay, I'm open. I want to know. Let's hear what they have to say.
My question is, how can we forgive others who have harmed us?
How can we forgive others who have harmed us? This is an essential crowning virtue on the spiritual path. Until you have mastered this virtue of learning how to forgive, you have not really entered the spiritual realm, because every little thing will pull you down. We are living in a world of imperfect people. We can never expect that nobody will harm us. We can never expect that nobody will do things wrong to us. This is going to happen again and again. Supposing I ask you, has anybody ever wronged you?
So getting traction for any new online business is difficult. With the amount of competition today, getting things going online is nearly impossible. And a few years ago, I was in the same spot you're probably in right now.
Skip the ad.
Everybody will put up their hands. Yes, Swamiji, it was my relatives, my so-and-so, my boss, my subordinate. So it happens to everybody. Now, supposing you don't forgive, what is the consequence? The consequence is that your mind gets filled, overcome with resentment. Resentment is such a terrible thing. It's like pouring and toxic waste into your mind. You will not allow anybody to come and throw garbage in your drawing room. But by harboring resentment, we are doing it to ourselves. One lady came to me and said, Swamiji, this person did this. Look what he did to me. And she went on and on about it for 20, 30 minutes. So I said, look what you are doing to yourself. What that person did is a different matter. It is said to be wronged is nothing unless you keep remembering it. That is why the religions of the world have emphasized that you need to forgive. So, how do you forgive? The first thing is that understand where people are coming from. We are in the material realm, and everybody here is a materially conditioned soul. If you were to go into the hospital and say, why do I find sick people out here? The doctor would say, you are mentally sick. In a hospital, you will find sick people. What else do you expect? If you go to a prison house, you will find prisoners there. Similarly, we are in the material realm. Every soul out here is one who has been bereft of God consciousness since endless lifetimes. So such people, if they are selfish, if they make mistakes, if they act in ways that hurt you, what is so astonishing about it?
I love this guy.
Bring this knowledge of the nature of the world. So you will not have such amazing expectations. When our expectations are that, I am so good and everybody should be good to me, That is like saying I am a vegetarian and this bull in front should not hit me because I have not eaten any cows.
Now look, I want to ask you something. Be honest. You don't got to put it in the thing, in the chat. This is just ask inside your mind to yourself. Ask yourself this. During anything you heard this last Swami talking about, did anything in there make you go, you know what I mean, right? There it is. That's an utterance. That's a clue. That's a neon sign pointing a direction. Because if anything in there prompted some sense of fear, something other than full love, all love, love and nothing but love. Love is like clear. You can see completely through it. Love is like a certain temperature, like a warm bath. You know the difference if it's an ice plunge. You know what I'm saying? So if anything in there made you go, ooh, like that's a sign that you might want to take a look at that. Because it's not going to go away. We have to forgive to start the process of moving it away, the process of dying to those things that do not serve us. But I really believe, I'm still in there working it out, y'all. But I'm going to tell you, so far, this is what I've come up with through my experience and what I hear in my own journey here in the last, been telling me this. And I'll tell you what, this is what, y'all ready for this? You're getting a little P3 right now. This is from P3. I wonder if I should, well, yeah, it's the truth. So here you go. This is what they told me. This is the download I got about it. Because you got to remember, in 1988, I had a dream that took me from being suicidal in that moment. There was still more of that ahead, but at that time, from being that Victor Newman, I don't give a shit kind of person. I don't care. I don't even have any home. I'm going to be a nomad. I don't have to worry about seeing you in a year. I want to probably be living here. I've never stayed any place in a year. I had 22 homes, bitch. That's kind of how I felt. I came out of that experience bitter, feeling like everything and everyone owed me. So see, I wasn't about being about service. That was the first thing. That was one of the main things. Because if what you're doing is not to be of service, of greater good than others, it ain't going to work anyway. So it showed me this. It said, Lauren, yeah, you were the apology king. I had you see it in masterclass, had a dream, told me to write anyway, I ended up starting the world's very first apology service. I did thousands of apologies. I was on Oprah, Good Morning America, Ricky Lake, People Magazine, all that, right? Still had a 14-year drug addiction in front of me coming up and homelessness coming up. So it wasn't like it made me famous or rich or anything. No, it was how what is greater than taught me, listen, dummy, if you want to get your life together, start here. So here, we're going to give you something that's never been in this world. You're the first person, just so you can experience and see through a different lens how important it is to forgive. So we're going to let you do it for other people that can't do it. And we're going to work in there. You can help them and it can help you. That's the way it should be, all at the same time. You in for it? And I said yes. So now, that was way back in 1988, the forgiveness piece. Now, here I am 59. I was 26 then. This is what they're telling me now. So now you got the forgiveness piece, Lauren. That's the part you do with your heart, the human me. But then that soul that came, that they just talked about all those many lifetimes, that soul has something to check off too. So my heart checks off, my empathy and all the things that are inside my internal things, my integrity, my instinct, my intellect, all the IN words, insight, all that stuff that's internal that can only be affected one way or the other through the invitations that I give, allowing anything and anyone in there. They can't get in there and mess with it unless I was never addicted to drugs. I was addicted to abusing the art of invitation because I always invited that drug in and it did what it promised to do. It didn't lie. I lied, thinking you ain't going to get me. I'm better. I'm not like the ones you see out there. Girl, tore my ass out the frame. It did. I'm just saying. I'm keeping it real because I don't want it to happen to you. I don't want it to happen to anybody. Right? Can I get an amen? So listen, now I am back to the point in my journey where everything, remember I told you I quit smoking. I'm being honest. Until September, I was a closet smoker. Ever since my junior year in high school. Hardly anybody ever knew. People came here and stayed in this house for days at a time. Ask them. Some of them are watching right now. And I would smoke and nobody would know. Didn't smell it. I had it down. I was that good at lying. That's what it was. Okay? So in order to get rid of it, it said, let your soul start making those decisions you can't make for yourself. If you just can't die to that thing, and you've been able to die to other things, but this one just seems to hold on, then why don't you allow your soul to make those decisions? And here's the key to it for me. I learned that all those humanistic things allow me to forgive. Die to it. Begin to, But then I have to say, now I need my backup. I need my bodyguard. I need my thugs. I need whatever I need to call it to get it up. Come on up here. Hey, here you are. Situation, things that haven't served me that I got to die to you right now. First of all, I want to bless you. And I want to thank you for what if it wasn't for you, all y'all that lied on me, all those people that talk shit about me, all the stuff that you know goodness well, I always gave when I had it. And then the one time I called you for a little bit, you act like you wasn't at home. Crawling around on the floor like I'm a Jehovah's Witness knocking on your door. You see what I'm saying? Right. But you know what? You learn to bless those things because every one of those things, every abuser I ever had in all those 22 homes, all the things, all the bullies, all the sissy, faggot, all that stuff. You know what? I bless every soul that contributed. Why? Because every one of them led me to you. Every one of them led me to you. And so now I bring my soul. I say, soul, come on up here. But I bless you, thing that no longer serves me. But I thank you for the serving of me that you did provide because you played that role, that you were granted permission to play in my journey to get me here. So now go and do that same to someone else. But your services are no longer required here. And my soul is going to escort you to the outside of my kingdom to make sure you're well on your way. We're going to need your passport back. You can't come in here any longer. And then I turn my back on it, and then my soul banishes it. It's just how it's been working for me, Okay? So, last thing we're going to watch before we get out of here is this. So here's a few tips. This is a short one, you guys. 3 tips that can change your life. And I'm always excited when I see this because I want to go in there and say, really? Because I remember back when I was in my darkest of places, I literally probably would have killed just to be able to watch 2 minutes of something that could change my life because I didn't think there was anything that could do it. And all along, the thing that could do it was with me all along. Me. Go figure. When I thought I was worthless, boy, I could have jumped out of that pond really fast if I'd have realized how much power I really possess, my own worth. That's a good thing about transparency. You're able to always see everything, and everything is always able to see you, including blessings and manifestations and everything that is designed to assist you in your soul's journey on all sides of the veil. So let's take a look at this last one. Okay. Make sure I got the sound so we can hear it. Okay. 3 tips. 3 tips that can change your life. Okay.
A man was once walking in the forest and he happened to see an exotic bird. Being very charmed by it and wanting to have it as a pet, he tiptoed towards it from behind and caught it. To his utter surprise, the bird started talking and it said to him, "Please, release me. In return, I shall give you 3 gems, 3 valuable pieces of advice that can transform your life. I'll give you the first one only when you let me go. The second one when I fly up to that branch. And the third one when I fly up high to the very top of this tree." The man instantly agreed and let the bird go. As soon as it was freed, the bird started flying up as it said, "Here's the first gem. My first piece of advice: do not torture, torment, and burden yourself with excessive regret for your past mistakes. As the man pondered over what he had just heard, the bird flew up, sat on a branch, and spoke back. And the second one is: do not believe anything that goes against common sense unless you have first hand proof. The man then saw the bird fly to the very top of the crown of the tree. It started laughing and said to the man, "You are a fool. Within my body are two huge jewels. If you would have kept me and killed me instead of letting me go, you would have been the master of these precious jewels and would have become instantly rich." "Oh my God," the man exclaimed. "How could I have been so stupid? I'll never be able to forget this foolishness for the rest of my life. Oh bird, can you at least give me your last, the third piece of advice? Maybe that will have the potential to pacify me." The bird replied, "I was just testing you. You're asking me for further advice? But did you even realize that you have already disregarded the earlier two pieces of advice I gave you? First, I told you not to torment yourself with excessive regret for past mistakes, and yet you just tormented yourself with regret for letting me go. And second, I told you not to believe in things that go against common sense unless there is first hand proof. And you disregarded that advice as well. For some reason, believing that there could be two huge jewels inside a tiny bird like me. But since you've asked me now for the third piece of advice, here it is. If you're not applying what you already know, why are you so intent on gaining what you do not know? Saying so, the bird flew away as the man received these three jewels that would positively change his life to come. Ladies and gentlemen, never forget these three things. We all make mistakes. Don't be too harsh to yourself and keep punishing yourself and tormenting yourself for what has already been done and cannot be undone. Learn your lessons and move on. Be sharp. Be smart. Don't evaluate things by face value. Use your reason, your discretion before you accept and trust something or someone. And lastly, if you do not digest what you have received by applying it, you're not ready for more. Life gives you more only when you use what you have rightly. I always say knowledge and makeup are very similar. Both do well only when applied. One changes the way you look, and the other, the way you live.
Yes! Man almighty! Now see? Remember how I said in that other one, it's something to make you go, but in this one, didn't something make you go, an utterance of love, right? Okay, you guys, I'm so excited. Listen, on the screen right now is a link which I just threw inside the chat, the comment section. So it's there. You can click on it when we get done here. And I want to invite you, if you want to continue this feeling, this spirit, this journey of questioning and evolving and just the excitement of what can really be. Now's the time. Click the link and come over. Tomorrow, a 90-minute free preview of my new work, P3, Purpose, Patience, Passion, not in that particular order, but find out what the real order is when you show up. Click that link, head over and reserve your seat tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central. 90 minutes, completely free. Some of you watching have been there. And everyone is different. No two. This isn't some scripted thing. Every one of them is a sacred space because we make it so when we agree. So I invite you. That is a personal invitation from me to you. And this is it right here. There you go. So tomorrow, coming up, but not really tomorrow, Monday. Guess who's coming? Wally Green, you guys. Wally Green. If you're wondering, do you remember? Oh my goodness. Wally Green is a world-class table tennis champion, a kid who came out of the projects and then went to the scary part of Korea and played the Korean champion. Now he has these clubs for kids all over the world. There's one here in Chicago, and we're going to be going there as a group, as part of our Power of We Symposium, April 28th here in Chicago. But Wally Green is here Monday. Take a look.
Is the International Ambassador of Ping Pong, Wally Green.
So there you go. Wally Green is in the house Monday, you guys. So come and join us. Listen, on the screen there it is, and I'm going to take it off because I don't want to act like it's free, but I don't want people to think it's some kind of sell on the way out. I want to give you my undivided attention freely, okay? Because listen, now I want you to know this about me. Whatever I do in my brand, it is never about getting anybody's credit card or routing number. It is, however, about getting your testimonial, because that means that when you've got something to talk about, you've got something to walk about sharing with the rest of the world. So don't just talk it, get out there and walk it. Do it as we always do. I want to thank each and every one of you for pouring into my life and making it the best version of purpose I could ever hope for. And that is the authentic life I was meant to live. Couldn't do it without you. So get over tomorrow, please. If you want to, go right now and reserve your seat. I guarantee you, it'll be one of the best 90 minutes you've spent in a long time. So in the meantime, get out there this weekend. You guys, do your very best to be your very best. Remember, you can only change the world. Seriously, we can only change the world when first we have decided and we're consistent in the changing of ourselves. Get out there. I'll see you Monday, God willing, on the front steps for our next episode of Bathrobe Moment. Have a great weekend. Thank you again. Bye, everybody.
Show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Oh, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind.